everyone. Welcome to Global Government News. Today is Sunday, July 3rd, 2011, and I'm Darko. This is part 3, the final part for today. My website is www.ggnonline.com. That's ggnonline.com. Just go over this poll once more, and then we'll get going here. No video because I have a lot of articles to get to. Interesting news. How do you think the situation in Libya will end? Gaddafi will remain the leader, and Libya will remain a sovereign nation. So far, 2 people, 40% say they will retain their sovereignty, and Gaddafi, the second option, will either step down or be assassinated, and Libya will lose its sovereignty. 3 people, 60%, agree with that option, or you can go with neither or not sure. DDarko 2012 is my YouTube channel, so you can check that out. And this is a story that I don't understand fully. But I recommend going to check it out. It's a vet warns of mass cattle starvation. This is, of course, in Australia. In Northern Territory, livestock veterinarian has warned the Prime Minister that thousands of Australian cattle could starve to death if the live cattle trade is not resumed soon. He said cattle being held in shipping yards would require 125,000 bales of hay a day to survive at a cost of $180 million. Prime Minister Gilliard told the 290-member audience at a community cabinet meeting that she did not want the export ban to be in place for 1 day longer than necessary, right? In other words, playing politics in that. And it goes on here, it says that it's not related to the money being held by the Meat and Livestock Australia, and it says it will be distributed to those who wore the costs associated with feeding and relocating cattle caught mid-transit when the export ban was imposed more than 3 weeks ago. And it says here that Gilliard met with Aboriginal elders to discuss the continuation of the federal government's intervention into remote northern territories, and told reporters she supported the NT becoming a state. Then we have this cattle assistance package, not enough. Australian farmers on Thursday said the federal government's $31 million assistance package will only keep the animal export industry afloat for a matter of weeks. The government announced the package in a move to help business affected by the suspension of live cattle exports to Indonesia. And Mr. Redmond said the farmers wanted resumption in trade, not compensation. Quote, the cattle industry of Northern Australia is in crisis, and the problem is all of this is the government's making. The Gilliard government has created the problem, and they should fix the problem, he told reporters in Melbourne. And it says here a memo sent on Friday from a senior official in the Indonesia Agricultural Department of the nation's beef importers indicates that in the wake of the Australian ban on live cattle exports, no permits to import cattle will be issued for the July-September period. So new Jakarta ban shuts down live cattle trade. Okay, moving on here, we have Australian shoppers react to live meat export cruelty by buying more organic meat. And then you move down here and it says organic meat sales rise after live export cruelty. Butchers bombarded with questions over meat. Grocery war. Here we go. Sales of organic meat are on the rise as shoppers are shocked by the cruel treatment of Australian cattle. Overseas seek out more ethical options. And then we're going to go up to this article. Urbanites take to farming to ensure food safety. It's been a weekly routine, and says she gets vegetables for her family in a small garden she rents in the city's suburb. The garden has lettuce and other fresh vegetables that are grown without the use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, y'all said. And you move down here, she said the excessive use of chemicals became a grave concern years ago when she had intense cravings for cucumbers during pregnancy, but found out the cucumbers she bought would swell up to unnatural sizes after being stored for just a few days, kind of like the bursting watermelons. You guys remember that? And living in the country really is healthier than city life. You can go and check that out. But it says that a sound diet, exercise, plenty of sleep, and escaping the concrete jungle of city life, all of these things contribute to a longer, healthier, and less stressful life, according to new research. Next up, we have number of the week. Pursuit of happiness gets more difficult. It says here 29% share of Americans who say they are very happy. And you go down here and it gives you a little poll, and it says here that it not happy is going up to almost, 19%. And the thing is I think if people were more aware of what is actually going on, what is being done to them covertly, and I think it would be a lot higher. I think it would be up to about 70%. And who knows if those numbers are even fudged, right? But almost the same percentage of people, Americans, don't know U.S. Declared independence from Great Britain. So Check that out. Historical fact. Independence Day is a celebration of freedom from government tyranny. Happy 4th of July. My fellow Americans, it says it's Independence Day weekend. Independence from what, you might ask? As even the somewhat revisionist history taught in public schools readily admits, 4th of July is a celebration of independence from government tyranny under British rule. And we're going to keep moving here. Gallup, Obama's approval hits an all-time low among the poor and is highest among the rich. So all those people that say, oh, the Democrats, they're for the, they're progressive and they're for, helping out the poor, and these damn Republicans and libertarians, well, mostly libertarians, because, but they'll say Republicans anyways. Libertarians, I think, are real Republicans. But anyways, they'll say that the people on the right are what? They hate the poor and they're cold-hearted, bastards, as you can say. But the truth is they're both the same thing. They are both the same thing. So that makes sense that him claiming to be a leftist would be, having the highest approval rating among the rich. So, and here we go here, and it says here, China's Red Cross to probe alleged misuse of donations. So the Red Cross Society of China has announced that it will suspend operations of one of its fundraising groups and hire auditors to investigate the branch's alleged misuse of donations. It said, according to a statement posted on the charity's official website late Friday, the charity will invite auditing institutions to check revenues and expenditures for China's business system. And yeah, the Red Cross is a scam. I've recommended it. Recommended not to use them for donating for relief funds for both Haiti and Japan. And both scenarios, it turned out later, articles came out to prove what I was saying was right, was correct, which is the money didn't get to the actual people. G8 summit venue ideal for snipers. Ooh, it says here, RCMP review reveals security hole at last summer's leaders event. So, an internal review says the Conservative government's choice of Ontario Cottage Country as a 2010 G8 summit venue offered would-be snipers ideal conditions to assassinate a world puppet or leader, whatever you want to call it. I mean, those things are just horrible. It's just nothing but a police state. There's no freedom, and they talk about how they're there to be democratic, and I mean, seriously, the only reason they protect these guys is because they're assets. They're assets for this international global cabal, banking, defense cabal. That's what they are. They're businessmen. That's what they are, and that's who funds them. So, big pharma, eugenics, defense companies, and big banking companies. So, Boeing and that, and Goldman Sachs and Baxter Bayer, that's who these guys really work for. They don't work for you. So they want to make sure they protect their investments. That's why Obama has the Beast, just a humongously, grossly big car with metal plating. That thing is just so damn thick. And when it came out of Ireland, I believe it was Ireland, maybe it was the UK, but I think it was Ireland, it actually bottomed out because it was so long and big and heavy, and it's just, ugh. But anyways, yeah, so that's to protect our assets, but they always have puppets in line. That's, vice presidents, all that. The next one is always already bought out. Obama administration fires ATF whistleblower, and we're going to move down here. It says Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms is being accused of retaliating against an agent who helped publicize the agency's role in allowing thousands of guns to cross the U.S. border and fall into the hands of Mexican drug gangs. So that's their job. Villagers, and of course go after patriots and law-abiding citizens. Villagers briefed to spot terrorists. Ooh, here we go again. The British government is calling on villagers. Come on, comrades, commissars. It says here, near airports across the country, to identify extremists, radicals who could target planes with rocket launchers. Next up. All right, we have next up... we have FBI led Hemingway to kill himself. A close friend of American writer Ernest Hemingway claims the Nobel Prize-winning novelist took his life due to the anguish caused by FBI surveillance. And when you move down here, it says that A.E. Hotchner, who was Hemingway's friend and collaborator during the last 13 years of his life, said the FBI surveillance, quote, substantially contributed to his anguish and suicide, adding that he had regretfully misjudged his friend's fear of the organization. Yeah, it really is organizations, because there's different organizations that surveil, and they will wear you down. They try to wear you down. Just a little breaking news here. Egypt gas pipeline to Israel and Jordan has been bombed. We're going to move on here. Acts of entrapment ruled okay in the war on terror. And Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it is. A group of Muslim ex-convicts and American citizens were sentenced to 25 years in prison as it was exposed that the government manufactured to threaten and trap the men into participation in a false plot. I've covered this. Come check it out. I got to keep moving for time's sake, but that's what it is. The war on terror is a big illusion that the government are the terrorists, and they have to create and fabricate these would-be terrorists. And they always happen to catch them right before they do it. Well, that's because they want to show that they did a good job and that all this infrastructure that's used to enslave you is legitimate, and that's why it's there. But usually you'll find out that they're actually paid and brought up and radicalized by the government themselves, intelligence agencies, usually in the FBI. Petraeus confirmed as CIA director, so there you go. And then North Korea to lead UN's nuclear disarmament group. So hey, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Protect your computer and phone from illegal police searches. Then young child forced to sit in urine-soaked uniform at North Haven Public School in Australia. Ohio cops tase mentally handicapped teenager with speech impediment for disrespect. Japanese scientists develop robotic exoskeleton. And I just want to make a brief note. I think it's great when people, that are, I guess you could say handicapped now, just have disabilities, get the ability to walk again. My only thing is looking long-term, because I always look at things long-term down the road when we're all dead and what the real reason for a lot of this stuff is. Ultimately, they want machines. They want robots that without the person. So just imagine this person gone, and then imagine that. I mean, you know what I mean? So that's what they want. They want to get rid of most humans and have machines do all the work for them. I'm talking about the elites here, the bloodlines. That's what they want, and they only want a few people to be able to operate these machines or tell them what to do. But they're doing this now to sell it to the plebs so that they can fund all this research, because that's how the military-industrial complex works. You fund it, and then they put little locks and gadgets on there to prevent you from using it any way that you want. Good example, of course, is the cell phone ban, and I think that's for insurance purposes, so they don't have to do payouts, and it has to do with insurance. That's why they ban stuff like that, like helmets and that. You got to wear a helmet. But the cell phone bans, texting, you know what I'm talking about? I think the reason for that is down the road there's going to be checkpoints. There are going to be checkpoints, and people are going to want to communicate with each other to say, oh, there's a checkpoint. There's a checkpoint over on 95th Street. Don't go over there. But, they're going to be texting, so now you can be pulled over for texting. That's why I say you have to think long term. State to fight ruling against ban on race and college admissions, and they say it will hurt the minorities because, a lot of people like my sister come from middle-class families but don't have enough, not even really middle class, but are very, very smart and should go to college, don't, because other people go because they get scholarships and that because of their color and race. Ohio State House getting a full-service bar, no joke. Senior leader urges more efforts to synthesize Marxism, talking about a better way to make it more up-to-date and popular. So there you go. And here we go. Chavez cancer confirmation stuns Venezuela. So he does have cancer, but he was not on his deathbed. That was just propaganda. Whistleblower claims White House used CIA to perform hit jobs against political dissidents. Check that out. Cancer surge and body scanners operators. TSA launches cover-up. Then Texas TSA. Texas TSA bill dies after House refuses to address it on final day of session. Then Rick Perry, governor, and Rick Scott go AWOL during state emergencies to attend secret Koch or Koch meeting, however you want to pronounce that. Then next up, we have Quebec protests, royal parasites. And then next we have this helmet law. That's what I was telling you. Helmet law. Protester dies from head injury. And you know what? That's his right. If you don't want to wear a helmet, then when he dies, if he has insurance, his family's going to get money. But insurance companies don't like that, so then they create a law to ban everything. It's your right to do whatever you want with your own body. Leaked emails reveal government conspiracy to downplay Fukushima disaster. TEPCO resumes cooling at the plant. Then rupture pipeline spills oil into Yellowstone, India, Rajasthan, whatever, in cars for sterilization drives. So they're going to give them a car to get sterilized. UK pledges 1.3 million to starving people in drought-hit Ethiopia. I wonder why they're starving. Must watch official hearing on population studies. You can check that out. Then next we have Bayer settles a lawsuit because the chemicals, genetically modified traits, contaminated crops. Then urgent, Johnson & Johnson recalled more than 60,000 bottles of Tylenol. Then next up, mobile phone use may have no impact on risk of brain cancer. Right. Take child payment direct from father's account, says MPs. And gender-neutral preschool accused of mind control. Thank you, everyone. Take care.